Hey guys, this is Inkbox, and this is Cam Demand and Jay Kwan, and we are Lorcanada.
Guys?
And today's episode is going to be the Inkcaster Den podcast.
New series that we created today. We're going to be doing a lot breakdown.
We literally made it today.
Literally just
on
today.
the fly.
Everything on the fly. All right, so this is episode 1. Maybe we'll do more of these if you kind of enjoy yourselves. I'm going to be coming in here in the perspective of kind of a noob, because I'm a Yu-Gi-Oh player, and Cam Demand, also kind of a noob. We only got Jason here to kind of help us break it down, so we're going to be asking you the stupid questions.
Oh,
the
no pressure,
obvious
guys.
questions
No
that we
pressure.
need to know.
Well, I mean, we'll go through a few things here for each deck. We won't cover too much in depth, but we want to give you guys a nice fresh perspective here, seeing what's topping over there in Europe for the Paris European Championships.
Was it what you expected? In Europe.
There has been a lot of talks where purple is kind of the best color right now.
Okay.
The color to beat, the color to have in your decks, and just based off of the results, that's exactly what we're seeing. Yeah.
Okay. Well, why don't we take a look at the top cut breakdown, starting with what we have here. So, Ruby-Amethyst ended up winning with Domingo Martinez. Bounce control, he calls it. Okay, that's kind of cool. And then there's Emerald Amethyst. We see a lot of Amethyst throughout. I thought there was gonna be a lot more Steel personally, but you wanna break it down, Jay Guan?
Yeah, so it looks like we have a couple of decks that we've seen in the past. The one of them that kind of just appeared in the radar recently is the Emerald Amethyst deck, which has been one of the decks, I would say the more popular decks with a larger showing. But yeah, like just looking at this breakdown right now for the top 16, obviously the deck list hasn't been fully updated yet, so we are missing some of the top decks. But
we're still gonna go through whatever we have. Right?
Yeah, and we're gonna do like one of every color, just to give you guys an idea, of what's out there.
But it seems like the Ruby Amethyst and the Emerald Amethyst, they're kind of like mid-rangey decks. It's not like Sapphire Ruby where you kind of go for the late game or anything like that. It's just like steady pacing throughout.
Yeah,
Just steady
exactly.
grind.
Yeah, exactly. Those purple decks, are really just there to resource manage, and slowly kind of pick off, getting some lore throughout the game, and then really just outlasting the other decks. So
why don't we
that's
take
kind
a
of
look
the
at some of these
gameplay.
decks? Well, actually, before that, let's take a look at the percentage and representation of the top cut.
Yeah, so as you guys can see, as I mentioned earlier, is that looking at the Amethyst Emerald deck, has the highest representation right now, with Ruby-Sapphire coming in second, Ruby-Amethyst coming in third, as expected, right? We all looked at Ruby-Sapphire as being one of the top contenders as well. I mean, last set was really strong, but what I'm noticing, I guess you guys can see here as well, is that Emerald-Steel really falling down from the looks of things here.
I really don't like Emerald-Steel right now. I play the deck, and I just feel like it's so behind. It falls behind so fast. You don't open a decent enough hand to rip apart your opponent's hand, or they just get a Hiram at the perfect time. All the effort you spent getting there, all gone in one swipe.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, I was playing a little bit of Emerald-Steel last set too, and a lot of what I found is that every 3 cards that you use is 1 card use of Ruby-Sapphire that takes it out. So, it's just a game where it just becomes a really hard time for Emerald-Steel to outlast a lot of these decks, right? Because again, Emerald-Steel doesn't have too many big things outside of Tinkerbell. Again, that's the whole point of having the discard package in there, right? To start just ripping out strong cards that opponents can't use later in the game.
Yeah, true. All right, so why don't we take a look at some of these deck lists? Cam, why are you just sitting there? Like you can chime in. You played Ruby-Sapphire. We'll get into that in a second, but let's take a look at Domingo's list right here. This is the first place European Championship list.
Yes, sir. Congrats to you, Domingo.
So let me take a look at this. We have ourselves Chernobog's Follower, And we've got the 1-drop Magic Room, 2-drop Madam Mims. These are all at 4. We have Flynn Rider. This seems so standard when it comes to like what we've seen in set 5. Madam Mim Foxes, the big power-up Sisu at 3-drop. And then, of course, the latest addition from set 6 is going to be the Genie, Wish Fulfilled, which essentially kind of replaced, like, not replaced, but kind of added on and doubled up on your draw power, which used to come from just the rabbit. And of course, we got Merlin Goat, Merlin Rabbits, both 3 and 4. And what is this card here? The Bell.
Yeah, the Bell. The Bell is looks to be a new addition to a lot of these purple decks. It was used a lot previously in Blurple lists, but right now Bell actually has a lot of very interesting applications in this meta.
What does this Bell do?
Well, the Bell essentially moves up to 3 damage, I believe, to any character on the board. And I believe that you can also move damage from your opponent's character to another one of their opposing characters. So essentially just damage swapping, right? It does actually get past resist, which is going to be very handy when it comes to those new cards like Calhoun, right?
Yeah.
And again, like this meta, because Genie is so prominent in a lot of these purple decks, there needs to be more outs to them. And, Bell's a good way to out Genie. So essentially what you would want to do is essentially on curve, right, is play Genie on 4. And then on 5, you attack into another Genie, dealing 2 damage, playing Bell on turn 5, and then moving that 2 damage from your Genie over to the other Genies is one way that you could get rid of opposing Genies.
Well, that's kind of annoying. That's actually pretty smart.
And of course, it gets rid of Diablos too. But yeah, Genie's just so prevalent in this meta because it's what 2/4 evasive, quest for 2, draw a card. There's not much
There's nothing bad about it.
Yeah.
There's nothing bad about it. The evasiveness also gave them like an additional option outside of just Elsa to take out Diablos.
Yeah.
And it's an earlier drop in comparison too. Sure, the Diablo might get an additional card from your Genie, but your Genie is swinging in and definitely not dying.
Yeah, I guess this is just all a contributing factor to Emerald-Steel falling off is just the added draw power, more out to Diablo.
Yeah.
Just
everyone has more outs to
continual-
Diablo.
Every
Continual
deck
increase in
has an
answers.
out to Diablo, it seems.
Well, I mean, there's like Maui Half Shark that's also evasive,
Right.
and people are playing the Vitalosphere. Is it
Right.
Vitalosphere? Giving it rush and just like boom, your thing's dead. I challenged it. I get an action back. I can gain the lore from the action played, and it's just there's just so many things. Like Diablo is very hard to maintain in the format, and like Steel, they can ping it off a lot easier now too. And it's just kind of wild to me.
And I guess as well, does Emerald-Steel have a relatively hard time dealing with the Flynn Riders on top of that?
I wouldn't say so, because generally, on curve, the ideal hand is to go Diablo turn 1 and then turn 2 shift into Diablo,
You can
and
pick it
then
off.
you just pick it off with a song, right? But so again, like Flynn is just there to really gain at least lore 1 or 2 times, and then that's really its purpose, right? Is to just kind of get you ahead, and especially these really grindy matchups, because purple red decks against purple green decks, that's a grindy matchup.
Yep. So moving on with the list, aside from the Bell, we have the all-powerful Elsa, the Diablo killer, which is also the one that kind of picks apart the characters that are usually stuck never questing.
Yeah.
Of course, that Elsa is very powerful. Also, rush evasive. The two things that kind of go hand in hand for red purple decks is that lots of these characters now have rush evasive together. There's just a lot more of it now.
And also keep in mind as well that Elsa, having a 5 booty there is really useful with Bell. Keep in mind, right? Because you're rushing into something, and then on next turn, that Elsa's probably still going to be there, and then you're just going to use Bell to move that damage somewhere else.
Just flinging damage left
Yeah.
and right, flinging all those things. All right, and then we have 2 Lady Tremaines, 2 Madame Medusas, 1 Sisu to shift into the existing Sisu, just in case it's not doing anything. Gives you a little bit of late game pivot for your Sisu that you're perhaps not getting at the earliest point. 4 Brawls to deal with all sorts of stuff, including Genies now.
Yeah, which is very important.
Yeah, because the evasiveness makes it very hard to touch it. The questing for 2 is just obnoxious. And there's the Friends from the Other Side, 4 copies of that. And for our unquestionable Be Prepared board wipe resets. And ultimately, this deck list managed to get first. I'm going to go to the next list now. So this is second place. I don't know how to read this name. Is it Michelle Assarelli?
I think Michele
Michele
Assarelli. Sorry if I butcher that, but
we
we're
apologize
trying.
for the butchering of.
We're just
Yeah,
Canadian.
I'm sorry, we're just Canadians. All right, who wants to break this one down?
Go for it, Cam.
Alrighty, so it looks like
Cam,
we
you want to
have...
move the mic more towards your face?
Oh yeah. So it looks like we have 4 Chernobog's followers, one of the new set 6 Diablos. We also have, looks like, 3 Magic Brooms, 4 of the Cursed Merfolk, 3 Madam Mims,
Snakes.
Snakes. My apologies.
Remember, the names of these cards, it's not like
yeah.
any other card game where the names of cards, now they do matter. In terms
Exactly.
of their
Everything
subtext.
has the same main name. 1 Bonsai, 1 Go-Go Tamago, or 4 Go-Go Tamagos, 4 Ursulas, not the double singers, another 4 Madam Mim Foxes, 4 Merlin Crab, 1 Peter Pan, 3 of the new
The White Rose.
White Rose,
Rose,
yeah,
the burn.
4 Kid Cloud Kicker, 4 of the new genies,
Again.
4 Merlin Goats, 3 Merlin Rabbits, 1 of the Bells, 4 Elsas, and 1 of the... That's not the
That's the
double
shift.
That's a
singer.
non-singing
that's-
shiftable Ursula. The
That's
Flood
their
Boy.
skill drain.
Yeah,
Skill drain
Skill
equivalent Ursula.
Yeah.
So, again, we kind of get to the point where, of course, people are playing their genies and their Merlins. It seems like the ratio is 4-3. 4 genies, 3 Merlin Rabbits.
Yeah, I'm noticing that as well, and I think a portion of that is, keep in mind, because the championships are open deck lists, it is very good to have, one of cards, because, your opponent has to respect that, right? It puts a lot of...
That's such a Yu-Gi-Oh player
yeah,
thing to do.
it puts up,
I play one of this just so that I'll have the tech when I need it.
Yeah.
Such a weird thing to do.
But again, like, these one-offs, unlike other card games, is that you're able to mulligan for them too, right? So you're automatically thinning your deck that way. And again, like, it's just extra added pressure, right? When it's open deck list in the top cut and your opponent sees, let's just say you have 1 Bell, right? And they're playing like a Emerald deck. That Diablo automatically has to prepare, right, to have that Bell dropped on you at any point in time. So again, it's just stuff that you respect, right? Same thing with this Peter Pan, right? The 3-drop Peter Pan. That it's there, so do you really want to drop a Diablo into that, right?
What does this what does this Peter Pan do? Does it give rush characters evasive or evasive characters rush? It's evasive characters get rush, right?
It gives evasive characters rush. That's correct.
That just makes those genies even more annoying because they could already be on board, or you're just dropping them right now, and all of a sudden, boom, they're swinging in, they're dealing damage, and then comboing with that Bell. It seems to be like these are the meta plays, but the 1 Bonsai and the 4 Crab, is 4 Crab now popular?
No, crabs are quite popular because even though there hasn't been too many locations running around, it's just going to be there to boost up your Diablos, right? Because that Diablo is a 0-1, so you're boosting up to a 3-1, and when you're done trading, you get to draw a card from Diablo, right?
Oh, self-replenishing.
So,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's pretty nice. All right, next up we have top 8 with Q playing Ruby-Sapphire.
Yeah, looking at here, looks like we got your standard 4 Tipos, 3 Baby Sisus, got 3 Gramatalas, 4 Hirams, 2 Mauis, 3 Maui Shark. That's pretty interesting to see.
I thought they kind of cut that number down, but hey.
Yeah, I believe they were testing out 2, but I mean, hey, looking at this list, I guess 3 must have worked out because again, looking at this list, he has Let It Go, right? He has just a bunch of stuff here he can get back. But yes, moving on. So there's a playset of Sisus, Tamatoas, and your Maleficent Dragon. Pretty standard there. And you got a Hideaway, 4 Azurite Seas, you got 4 Visions, 3 Brawls, which is interesting. But I mean, I guess you can always recycle the Brawl with Maui Shark. You got 3 Let It Goes, or sorry, no, 3. What's that one?
How far I'll
How
goes?
far I'll go, right? And then 1
Someone's
Let It
going
Go.
somewhere.
Yeah.
And then 1 Be Prepared. So I guess keep in mind that like even though they're playing 1 Be Prepared, 1 Let It Go, you are getting these back potentially with Maui Shark, right?
Because you're not opening like a handful of them, breaking your first draw and breaking the mulligan because you're seeing it again.
Yeah.
I mean, getting it like discard is not bad. It's not like you're gonna get that B prep ever put into the inkwell, where it's
Yeah,
like
well-
permanently gone. Like,
I mean, in this case here, you could technically ink it if you have to with Teeple, but aside from that, I think you're really just discarding it, or just hard casting it.
you could
right?
get unlucky with how far I'll go, and you have to.
Oh
put
yeah,
it
oh yeah,
in-
that
put
too,
it
that too.
into the inkwell,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah.
That'd be unfortunate. Then you'll be searching your deck with visions and not able to find your one ofs.
Well, hopefully it doesn't get bottom deck when you need it most.
Yeah.
But like looking into the rest of like there's still more stuff. There's even more items now.
Yeah, and these are the item packages that Q is playing. So 2
Yeah.
Shield of Virtue, 1 Vitalisphere, which is interesting. 4 ice blocks, 4 popsicles, 1 dragon statue, and 1 dime. 1 dime is very interesting to
Yeah,
me.
it's an interesting ratio.
Yeah.
And then for the shields, do you know what the tech choice with that one is? Is it just to...
Yeah, so I think it's to re-ready your character. You can't quest with it, but you can challenge with it. So it just based off of the ratio with Maui Shark, I have a feeling that he's using Shield of Virtue, Vitalisphere to pair up with these Maui Sharks to get in for another challenge and adding back another action, right? So
Yeah.
very powerful stuff. It's kind of neat to see that the ice block, it like slowly ramped up from the previous set to like 2 to 3, now even 4, just getting that board wipe. One thing I'm not seeing here are like Madame Medusas for the clearing of like potential threats. Like, why do you think they shifted that out? Is it for the Maui half shark space?
yeah.
And also, of course, they're playing 4 T-Pos plus the 4 Azurite Sea to get that ramp.
I guess potentially, is it just they want to get the action package higher for the Maui Shark?
That
And then you
too,
can
right?
recycle more of your removal where your Medusas would have previously been.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I believe that's probably one of the mentalities that this player had, because again, you're recycling Let It Goes, right?
Yeah.
And then at the end of the day as well, it's that even though you're only playing, 1 Be Prepared, right? 3 Brawls. Again, these are all things that you can get back with Maui Shark. Another thing is that this player is playing 4 Teeples and 4 Azurite Seas. So I think the mentality there is, in case he did run into any discard decks, he can kind of pivot between which type of ramp that he wants, right? Because they're both inkables.
All right. No,
Yeah.
that's fair. That's fair. Okay, let's see the next one. We have Amethyst-Steel. Okay. So for the Amethyst-Steel, we've got the new package. Well, not new package, but the current package of 3 Churnabox Follower, the new Banish Draw Diablo 1-drop, 3 Brooms, 3 Calhouns. I think this is the first instance of Calhoun we're seeing today here, and then 4 Mr. Smee. 2-drop. There is the Madam Mim Fox. 4 copies of that. No snakes, so just the foxes. 2 Merlin Crabs. Lawrence, 3 copies of that. I haven't seen that one ever, so we're gonna jump back into that in a second. Triple Pete, 4 genies, 4 goats. This one does not have any rabbits whatsoever, but we are still seeing more steel cards like Pluto, the bodyguard, and we're again seeing Belle redistributing damage once again. 4 Elsas. This one has a Hades in here. The
Hades,
6-drop.
Lord of the Dead,
Yeah.
the one that recently came out.
Very interesting. And we got Fire the Cannons, Smash. Okay. We're smashing now. And Friends from the Other Side. And then along came Zeus and the Library times 3. So this is a very interesting list. I haven't really seen Purple Steel in the previous set. Like, I'm pretty new to this game. I started in set 5. So this isn't a deck that I'm familiar with. But seeing that the Diablos, Calhouns, a lot of the cards that had a lot of... I guess good hype around it, they definitely are sticking around now.
Yeah, at this point it looks like a really low to the ground, but good cards dot deck, right? You got all the bouncing packages there. You got the genie again that's showing up,
Genie is like
and
forever.
then
Genie is
Yeah.
forever.
yeah,
Like,
you
even
got all the
spiked them
good
in
aggro
price too.
stuff. Oh, keep in mind that because they have the bounce fox, right? You can technically repeat and just keep playing Pete turn after turn. So this
I
deck
see
this
what
looks
you
like
did
a
there.
high
Did
utility.
you just say repeat?
I did.
Okay.
I did. If you know, you know.
Unintended.
Okay. It's kind of
Oh
neat.
yeah, and then there's this one tech which is Hades, Lord of the Dead, and for you, those of you guys who don't know, it's during an opponent's turn, whenever one of your other characters is banished, gain 2 lore. That's kind of cool. So essentially, you're questing a lot for Diablo, and worst case scenario, if the opponent does happen to get rid of it, you're gaining 2 lore off of that, and you're drawing a card.
That's perfect. I love
that's-
getting lore while my guys die.
That's pretty strong. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
really, really good. So what is this Lawrence card? It's a 3-drop. It's just... Is it just smaller Pluto?
Well, it is smaller Pluto minus the bodyguard.
a quest for 2.
Yeah, quest for 2. Lawrence has been seen quite a bit before in Amber Songs and aggro Amber Song lists. But essentially on curve there, when you're playing on curve, it's very, very hard to deal with, right? Because again, that's was it a turn 3 drop? So anything that you're playing on turn 2 can't even get over it, right? Because on turn 2 at most, maybe it's like 3 strength, right? So it's there for resiliency, and when you're done with it, you just drop the Pluto, bounce it again, do whatever you like with it. It's just strong.
It is very strong.
Yeah.
I'd also like the fire the cannons. The 1 cost take out Diablo. How early would you fire that cannon?
It really depends, right? A lot of times I have seen people use fire the cannons on just a 1-drop Diablo, especially if they have a slower start and they just don't want to risk having that shift Diablo come down, right? So, fire the cannons also have applications with getting rid of Flynn, right? And as you saw on the top deck, Ruby Amethyst, they're still playing Flynn at 4 copies, right? So it's a good on curve. You can go fire the cannons and drop like a Chernobog's Faller, right?
It's pretty neat. Pretty neat. And let's take a look at... Okay, now we got Steel Song.
Yeah, we got a Francis Gutierrez top 16 list here. We have 4 of the 1-drop 5-singer Cinderellas. We have 4 of the Robin Hoods.
That's a 3-singer Cinderella.
Or 3-singer Cinderella. my apologies. my
1 drop,
apologies.
5-singer.
That'd be pretty good.
We're changing our hand on turn 1.
Yeah. Yeah.
Keep going. Keep going.
And, oh my gosh, my eyes are so bad, guys. I'm sorry. We have
Did you not full screen on your side?
no, I believe we did.
How? Okay.
We have 4 1-drop Simbas, and then it looks like 4 of the new Lilos who can resurrect themselves at the start of your turn if they were, I guess, defeated in
Lorcana's
challenge.
version of Treeborn Frog.
Yeah, the Treeborn Frog of Lorcana. Looks like we have...
that's the 1-drop dock, the one that discards your hand and draw 2.
The 2-drop dock. Yes,
interesting.
one of 2-drop
Yeah.
dock.
So I guess this card would be played when you're expended your hand already to...
Yeah, or let's just say, you're playing against a Ruby-Sapphire deck and you don't want a whole new world and give them a fresh hand to ink. Dock could get you there too, right? You drop dock and drop like 2 1-drops. Keep going.
That's pretty fair. And then there's 4 of the Mr. Shmee, another steel staple. We have... which Ariel is this one?
Spectacular Singer.
This is the singer that also
Spectacular
fetches the song.
Okay. And then we have another appearance of Lawrence here as 2 copies in the deck. Another 3 Petes, 4 Rapunzels, 2 Plutos from the newest set, and also the new Simba grown up from the newest set.
Grown up.
Yeah, grown up Simba. And then we have another 4 shiftable Robin Hood. We have 2. Is this the world's greatest mastermind?
No,
Yeah,
this
the
is World's
Criminal
Greatest
Mind.
Criminal Mind.
Or world's
Yeah.
greatest criminal mind. We have 4 Let It Go, or sorry, this is not Let It
Let
Go.
the
This is
storm
Storm
rage
Rage
on.
On. And
4 strengths of the Raging Fire. We have all the damage spells, really,
Yeah.
and 2
And then
Zeus and 4
4 whole
wheels.
new worlds. Yeah.
Anything different about this particular Steel Song deck? Is it just still kind of the...
Oh, I mean, there's definitely a lot of. I would say the
What's the
the
biggest change?
Amber Song deck has a lot more inclusions for set 6 than some of the other decks, right? Because as you're looking at it here, like we got Lilo now, the one that comes back. So again, if for those of you guys who don't know, is that I believe at the start of your turn you can play this card in your discard, exerted, right? So I believe it's 2 costs as well. So you can again just
Yeah.
play it once you empty out your hand, right? And then the other new inclusions is Pluto. And Pluto, for those of you who don't know, is a bodyguard. It's a 1/5, and it's just like Lawrence, where if it doesn't have damage, it has +4 strength. So it becomes a 4-drop 5/5 bodyguard, which is insane on curve. And you got the new Simba shift, and that one I believe at the end of the turn, all characters that are exerted readies themselves. So
Wait, does that ready your bodyguard?
yeah, I believe
Seems a
so.
little contradictory. Seems a little counterintuitive.
Well, that's why we're only running Pluto at 2, right?
It's true. That makes sense.
I
I
suppose-
mean, like the Rapunzel can heal off the Pluto to maintain that stat line. You go swing in, drop Rapunzel, draw cards, take out a threat, draw a couple of cards. Feels pretty good.
Oh, not to mention, re-readying Mr. Smee so he doesn't get that damage.
Oh,
Yeah.
That
wow,
also, I
yeah.
guess, combos pretty well with the Lilos you'd bring back at the start of turn too.
Yeah,
Since they enter
yeah,
exerted,
exactly.
they
Yep.
won't be able to be challenged once you pass turn to your opponent.
Yeah, exactly,
As well.
right?
Wow,
So-
really
Might as
min
well have-
maxing every ability. Like Simba, you're the guy that finishes the turn.
It was pretty interesting because for a while there, for some of the Amber song lists, a lot of people were actually cutting Simba, the Simba shift. So that's pretty nice to see that Francis brought, Simba shift back and was able to do pretty well. With
Yeah,
this
top
list.
16. Not bad. Not bad at all. Show them why it's a $30 card. Moving on. Okay, the decks that I love to play and I currently dislike a lot. Number 1, this is going to be Emerald-Steel. From Diznan. I don't know how to say this name. I'm sorry.
Dizenin?
Dizenin. For Diablo, and those are your only 1-drops. For Morphs, 4 Ursula Deceiver, 1 Calhoun, 1 Anna, 4 Diablo Devoted, 4 Prince John. Okay, we're going straight discard here. Okay, 4 Ursula, the Deceiver of All, 4 Pete, 2 Muses, 4 Beasts, Tragic Hero, and 2 Tinkerbell. Very standard compared to the previous one from the previous set. And the 2 Tinkerbells, Giant Tinkerbell, the 1 Pinger, usually shiftable via the morph. There's tons of Floodborn in this particular deck. And in terms of, now we get to the songs and the actions, we got 3 Hypnotize, 4 Sudden Chills, 4 Let the Storm Rage On, 4 Strength of Raging Fire, and 4 We Don't Talk About Bruno, and 3 Hidden Coast, which is 1 more than the previous set. What actually came out of this deck? Like I feel like it's just 1 Anna got changed.
Yeah, the
over.
only
Yeah.
thing that I see as a new set 6 edition here is the
Calhoun.
Calhoun.
Yeah, it's just 1 copy of
I
Calhoun.
know
This deck is
in
still the same.
some variations they were testing out Go-Go Tamago, but I think, so just based off of that, it looks like they cut it for Calhoun. The only other change that I see that they made is, bringing the Hidden Cove up to 3, which, isn't all too bad, right? Because, again, it just boosts everything in general. And Hidden Cove with Calhoun is insane.
Oh, it's insane. I know that feeling. It feels
Yeah.
so good. She doesn't feel like a 4-3. She feels like a 5-5. She's like a 4-5, 5-5, maybe 5-5 because you get to do so many swings with her, and it makes your opponent so afraid to quest into anything, to swing into even swinging into the cove doesn't feel good when they can't take it out in one shot. And once Calhoun gets her swing in, you get to get that additional 2 lore and take out the problem.
Yeah, exactly. So again, it's just there to give you a few extra turns to set up, right? Because the only thing that with this deck is that it does require a lot of setup, especially to be on curve, is that, you got to go your typical 1-drop Diablo and then turn 2 more for Ursula and then shift into Diablo and then you got to play your Ursula Deceiver of All or Prince John, right? And that's a lot of setup. And at any point in time for any of those turns, the opponent has plenty of cards now in set 6 especially, right, to deal with all these things, right? And again, everyone's playing like Fire the Cannons, right? Everyone's playing that new Gazelle card that gives something evasive, right, to get rid of the Diablos. So there's just the only thing I feel like with this deck is that it's so hard to adjust and add new cards here because everything is just good and you don't want to take it out or else it just kind of takes away from what the deck wants to do, right?
Yeah, it's
But
kind of feels a little bit weak in my opinion, just because I feel like this deck has like the one drop area. When you mull, you're really trying to dig for that one drop Diablo, except that it's basically your only one drop. So sometimes you just ink pass and hope for the best. And when you drop Diablo the turn after, it doesn't feel the same anymore.
Yeah,
because there's answers now, like
right.
answers for stuff.
Yeah, beforehand, like this deck is again a mid-range deck, right? So it catches up during the mid game, right? And this deck you have to really high roll with your mulligan. You got to mulligan like 6 or 7, right, to get that Diablo into Diablo Shift and morph into Beast Tragic Hero, right? So that's kind of the stuff that you're looking for. And if you don't find those, oh, the deck feels awful.
Yeah, it feels like everything's too weak and everyone's just trampling over you.
Yeah. But I mean, when the deck does what it wants to do, then it's good at it, right? So,
True.
yeah, kudos to Dezanin on getting the top with Emerald-Steel.
Well, that is it for our coverage for this, I guess, this cast here. So, if you guys like the breakdown from Jay Kwan and my dumb little questions,
we're all still learning here, guys.
Yeah,
so,
this is our first.
Again, we just want to bring you guys like raw footage of like unscripted and just us going through things with you, and that way we can kind of just.
Which is your favorite deck here, though?
Honestly, I was rooting for Emerald Amethyst, but looking at. Looking at this deck is just so nice, having all these different types of outs and all these techs, right? It was just like my style of deck.
Well, Amethyst is so versatile when it comes to its package. I think Amethyst has basically the most amount of keywords that you can use. The only thing they don't have is Ward, I believe, but they have Rush, they have Evasive, they have basically anything to do with the board, they can probably touch.
It would be nice to have, more of a board wipe or at least like single target removal, whereas everything just requires for you to challenge, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like Amethyst hits so hard and the bodies aren't small. Looking at what we have like, sure, you can hit really hard with Madam Mim, but you can also like hit and take out problems with Elsa. I just find that to be a bit like kind of wild there. Genies being a 2/4, it has no business being like a 2/4. 2/4 quest for 2 evasive. Like that's a lot of stuff attached to it.
With the added draw power too.
Yeah, the draw power on top. I'm like, I replaced myself, guys. Don't worry.
Yeah, like a lot of people have underestimated how hard it is to deal with that 2/4 genie being evasive, and the fact that it just quests for 2 every single turn like puts a lot of pressure, right? It adds up.
It sped up the entire deck.
Yeah.
Like last format, I wasn't afraid of purple or amethyst emerald. It wasn't too bad.
It felt very fair.
Yeah, it felt fair.
Yeah.
Now it doesn't feel that fair at all. It just feels like I'm gonna get run over. Once the genie starts coming out, it's a very big problem.
Yeah.
One thing I used to answer these genies: under the sea. You can bury yourself straight to Davy Jones' locker because I don't want to see you again. We're not friends. And it's not like I get that draw that one card, man. And I also don't like the card's so expensive now too.
Yeah, I think it was like $7 when it first came out, and now it's like
14?
like
Yeah,
$15.
it's double.
$15 just for
insane.
the non-foil copy. The
Yeah.
foil copies are 40s.
Yeah. And I mean, like, being Canadian, too, that's even more for us.
Yeah. Our monopoly money does
Yeah.
not get us very far.
No, I
Our
want to
conversion
play
not good at
purple,
all.
but actually I'm missing a lot of stuff in purple. I'm missing like all the Madame Mim foxes. I'm missing all of the Merlin rabbits. I need that stuff, and I also don't have those Elsas either.
Elsas are cheap. You can get them relatively cheap, right? Like, I think this whole deck, overall, I'm pretty sure Genie
is
Is
the
the
most.
It's the
majority
most-
cost.
Yeah, Genie's the
Genie-
I
highest.
guess
and then-
Tamago is maybe the second most expensive.
I think foils, yeah.
But then you can just buy the starter decks.
yeah,
To get
exactly.
the go
yeah,
the foil
exactly.
Tamagos.
You spend the same amount just to get the foil Tamago. Plus, you get extra bulk and,
And
a
the pack.
pack,
And the pack, yeah.
which
That's
could be an
true,
enchanted,
yeah.
you know. But yeah, this deck is just fun. It's just good stuff. Deck, right? Like look at the Tamagos. Like you're going to gain lore from goats from the white flower.
You can even bell
You know.
bell the damage over, and the Go-Go Tamago would gain that as lore.
Yeah, you
That's
could
also pretty
you
wild.
you could like Madam Madam and Fox into something and then Go-Go Tamago for 4 lore, right? And then just do the bounce,
Yeah.
go bounce, and then there's just so many different ways to just cheese out the opponent.
I've seen people just like lose out because they just put too much damage on someone and Go-Go Tamago to finish the game.
Yeah. So again, this deck just has so much things that the opponent has to worry about, right?
Good
Like
stuff. Deck.
just good stuff. Deck, and I think it's just my style of deck. So I think like
I don't.
We will
That's not
definitely
true. That is not true. Your style of deck is not that. Your style of deck is a deck with a Robin Hood.
so you know, right now we're just gonna make a deck with all these things with Robin Hood. But then Robin Hood's red.
Purple
I
red with Robin Hood.
Yeah, that would be
Get
something.
get to dig for those finders keepers.
Yeah, that was nice.
Yeah, just draw 3 cards because you decided to quest.
Deck profile on that may be coming up.
Maybe
We'll
we'll
see.
see. You're truly bringing in the spice.
Yeah, you know those spicy Sundays, right?
Yeah,
Is that what we
spicy
want to
Sunday.
do? Well, I think that kind of covers all we want to talk about here today. Because I want to talk about anything else, hear us talk about anything else, invite other people into this Incaster's Den. Sorry, I'm just trying to read the title of our cast here. This is the first time we're doing
We're
it.
all hard of eyesight here.
Yeah, clearly you know
Hey, we're trying.
we've been
we're
staring at a screen for a little too long.
trying. Yeah, well, I'm just really tired, and I'm sick of seeing these two guys for the rest of the day. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys
you, guys.
enjoyed
Thanks,
this,
guys, for
this
tuning in.
Is Lorcanada, and I hope you guys hit that like button, hit subscribe, ding, or I should say, ink that notification bell, and we'll see you guys.
Catch you
in the
guys next time.
one.
All right. See you guys.
Bye.